Hello and welcome to Life Talk. I'm Pastor Angie Lynch, and we are back for our fourth episode, our fourth segment of How to Get Unstuck. I hope that this is opening up a conversation. That's what we love to do here at Life Talk. Open up a conversation for you to continue after this episode ends, for you to talk to God, for you to talk to the people that you love, your God squad, the people in your life, your spouse, your friends, your children, and spark conversations that are life-giving for you, talking about practical things in your life and ways to apply spiritual principles, biblical principles to your life, grace-based, not law-based, just absolute relationship-based things to your life that bring life to you. And I do believe that if we feel stuck in our life, that it just takes away. There's ways that we can avoid getting stuck. Let's talk about the ways to get unstuck. Each time we've talked about it, we talk about how just mediocrity and complacency really is something that draws us in when they're not bad enough, but they're not good enough to propel us forward. It really does take us in this place where we just get stagnant in life, stagnant in our faith. And there are reasons why we get stuck. And since this is the last episode, I'm going to go over some of the things that we've talked about in previous ones. And I'd encourage you, go back and listen to those. I'm just going to skim over them right now because we've talked about, or we will by the end of the episode today, 16 steps to get unstuck and begin to move in faith. 1, you have to recognize that you're stuck. If you don't recognize that you're stuck, then you don't know to get unstuck. Search me, God. Know my heart. Test me. Know my anxious thoughts. Ask Him to search you. Ask Him. Number 2, we talked about reflect on the cause. Why am I stuck? Or why do I keep getting stuck at this point? Why do I keep hitting this spiritual ceiling and I can't seem to move past it, or I can't seem to break past it? Again, a lot of the things that we're talking about, I don't want you to take it in a legalistic context. This is not something for you to do and you to break. God has to do this, and He wants to do this in your life. But let's open up these conversations to say, okay, am I stuck? And if I'm stuck, what can I do to align myself with what He's trying to do in my life, right? He loves you, and you are just completely He is so in love with you. I can't even describe how in love with you He is. And He wants to help you, and He wants to do these things for you. Will you receive it? Will you allow it? Will you have faith and move towards that? And I hate to even say have faith, because without Him, apart from Him, we can do nothing. And everything He has is a free gift from you. So we have this mindset of legalism so many times, and we're trying to move towards a mindset of grace. But what is even that, right? Because all of our thinking has to be in uncharted territory. It's like, wow, if it's not law, what does relationship look like? And how can somebody love me so beautifully and so purely and so unconditionally and passionately? It takes a minute for our minds to be transformed and for everything to catch up. Why? Because His love is so overwhelming, but it's also so compelling that we move towards this. Number 3, we talked about being intentional about change. Let's take these faith-filled action steps to move towards the change that we believe He's trying to create in our life, right? 4, we talked about remember your why. Why did I fall so in love with God? What was that spot inside me that He fulfilled in such a beautiful way that I could never want anything else? Again, it's so crazy, but when you begin a personal relationship with the Trinity, it will take your breath away, because it's different than largely anything that you've ever thought it could be. Like I remember I used to think things like God is good, it's wonderful, but he felt so distant. But man, when you begin to feel the presence of God in your life, it is so real that there's no denying his presence and what he's doing. So it makes a difference when you fall so madly in love. Again, the Trinity will always be your greatest love story. Because why? Because there's nothing else like it. Love community. Community has its purpose. Every other relationship that we have has a purpose and has a meaning. But your greatest love story will always be with the Trinity. Number 5 we talked about is seek inspiration. God is the creator of all things, the inspirer of all things. And he wants to give you new inspiration when you get stuck. He doesn't want you thinking the same way day after day after day. It's like that love story with him unfolds, and each day there's another element to it. Not like, oh my gosh, like we get whiplash, but we get inspired. Like, oh my gosh, what can God do today in this area? Remember, if he's called you to something, if there's something in your life that he's going to have you do, he's going to provide the resources. It's not on you to make it happen. He literally will pour everything into you and you will overflow it. So 5, seek inspiration. 6, practice self-care. In practicing self-care, he wants to care for you. He wants to fill you up so much that you're just spilling out over the top. He wants to love you so passionately that as he pours his love into you, that you just overflow it. That as he pours his compassion into you, that you overflow it. So it's never, when we have practiced that self-care by allowing him to fill us instead of us trying to fill ourselves, then it makes it so easy to overflow. It's not an effort. It's not a performance thing. It's not a like, oh my gosh, I have to make this happen. I have to do this. No, he is doing it for you. 7, we talked about staying positive and grateful. Remember, we talked about with gratitude, that's being in the present. Whereas when we get out of gratitude, we have a tendency just to look at what we're missing. What am I, if you're beginning to look through the lens at, okay, I'm missing this, you're going to get stuck and you're going to feel stuck. So what is the antidote to that? And it really is gratitude. When you wake up each day and you're grateful for what is present in that moment, not what's going to be promised for the next season. It's so easy to get out of season and say, well, why isn't this happening right now? Or why isn't that happening right now? If God gave you a promise, know that it is being unfolded and it is being delivered, and you don't have to worry about it. He is on it. He will take care of it. But you have to stay in your season. Don't focus on what's missing. Have gratitude for what is there at the present moment. For 8, we talked about setting goals and micro goals, that small steps lead to big victories. Now, I'm not talking about you setting your goals. I'm talking about, Lord, what is the first step to this? What is the second step? What is the third step? I promise you, he will set your steps. He will give you the goals and the mini goals in between. And why do we do this? We do this so we don't get overwhelmed. Like, so many times we look at the end of what the vision is supposed to look like, right? When we get a vision, it's like that is the completion of the vision. Do we always get a vision for what's going to happen in every step of the way? That's not the fun part of the vision. That's not the part of the vision we want to take a look at, right? We want to take a look at the end, but it helps to break it down and say, okay, Lord, what is the first step? Maybe he's like, you know what? You're going to be a missionary in Africa. And you're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get there? Do I quit my job? What do I do? What is the first step? Maybe the first step is that you have to learn how to speak out, or you need to learn to have, like, maybe he wants you to begin to learn the language. Like, it's so crazy how we think we have to have the end product instead of just understanding, okay, let's break this down. What is the first step? The first step, I promise you, is not complicated, but we will overcomplicate it because we overthink it, don't we? We overthink it a lot. And in this, I read, I'm going to read this again because I love the scripture, Habakkuk 2:2. Write the vision, make it plain on tablets so he may run who reads it. Write down your vision, write down the steps, because even the act of writing it down is a prophetic activation where it does inspire other people when they read vision. Vision is catchy, right? Purpose is catchy. Truth is catchy. When you write that down and other people read it, they can run with it also. It's a beautiful way that the kingdom works. We talked about number 9, stay patient and persistent. Why? Because growth takes time. Unfolding takes time. Seasons, you have to spend the time in the seasons that are there. Many times when we get stuck, what are we doing? We're out of season. We're being too impatient for the next season. Or honestly, we don't want to move from the season that we're in, right? We're out of sync with whatever season. So we have to be patient and we have to be persistent. Persistent is a muscle that we have to exercise sometimes. Not that we make things happen. He makes things happen. But is there a consistency? Is there a persistency in us sticking to, and just claiming and just holding on to his promises that he's made to you? Yes, there's promises that he's made to me that are just now coming to fruition, right? And just because they didn't manifest in previous seasons in my life doesn't mean that it's out of sync or it's out of time or anything. Whatever he's promised to you will come in due season, in the season that it's supposed to come in. Why? Because he is a keeper of his promises. So if he's promised you, you don't have to worry. Be persistent in attaining that the focus and keeping the focus on and staying in faith for the fruition of that promise to come to pass, because he will not disappoint you and he will not let you down. But I don't know if your journey is like mine, but in my journey, he doesn't really do things like I think he's going to do things or that would make the most sense to me. So it's like, oh my gosh, right? 10, celebrate the wins. So important to celebrate all the occurrences all along the journey, right? If you're just looking at the end goal and the only time you can be happy or the only time you can celebrate is at the end, that's going to be problematic, and you're probably going to get stuck and you're going to get very discouraged, because when you think about the totality of everything, like the day of victory is one day, but the journey is every day. So getting in the journey mindset versus the destination mindset. And that's actually number 11. Live for the journey, not just the destination. We can get so caught up in the end goal that we forget to live. We forget that so many beautiful miracles, healings, just amazing things happen along the way. Number 12, and this is where we stopped last time, so we're going to pick up after this point. Surround yourself with passion-filled people. So important. Iron sharpens iron, so as one person sharpens another. It's in Proverbs 27:17. So we call it your God squad around here. That I believe that God, we're all a body, but God has a specific group of people for you to run with, that they're going towards your race that you're running, and you can cheer each other on, and you can be encouraging of each other and uplifting to each other. And I just think your God squad is so important. It's people that can put their agendas aside, that can reflect back to you the words that the Father wants to say to you, and reflect back your value and who you are in the kingdom, in your Father's words, not just what they think. So that's where we stopped last time on number 12. We're going to go to number 13, and this is our fourth segment of this, and we're going to wrap it up with number 4. 13 is break free from the fear. Fear is one of the biggest reasons why we get stuck and why we stay stuck. It whispers, what if you fail? What if you're not good enough? What if you can't do this? But fear is a liar, and it keeps us in bondage, and it prevents us from doing what the Father has us to do. And it keeps us from stepping into our God-given destiny, right? Fear is a liar. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And it's so true. Like, he has not given you a spirit of fear, but fear will begin to hold us back when we ask these questions that are completely irrelevant. If God has tasked you with something, if he's given you a vision, he is behind you 100%. He's not waiting for you to fail because he knows you won't fail. Because why? Because he knows your capacity. He has strengthened you. He has shored you up for everything that you need. If your vision is going to take you $1 million, you got $1 million coming. Why? Because he will give you $1 that'll spend like $1 million, or he'll give you $1 million that spends like $1 million. Why? Because he will provide the resources that you need. It's not on you to make your vision happen. He will do it. So often, one of the things we get in fear about is, I can't do this. I cannot do this. And you're right. You can't do it. But he can do it. You are to co-labor with him and let him do his part, but you do your part. But a lot of times, your part that you think is yours is God's job. Don't try to do God's job. Don't get into legalism. Don't get into the condemnation of law that says you have to do this and you have to make it happen. And if you don't do this, then God is mad at you. And no. We live in grace. And by living in grace, we know that we are fully accepted and fully pleasing to the Father. So when fear tries to come at you, say, get away from me, liar. No, I'm not going to be afraid. There's nothing to be afraid of. If my Father has ordained it to happen, it will come to pass. And so, no, we're not going to get into fear. With each one of our points, we've been talking about action items for each one of these things to do that. What does this look like to put practically into practice, right? How can I apply this to my life? Here's your action item for this step. I want you to identify one fear that's holding you back. And I want you to take a faith step to confront it. I don't care what it is. Maybe it's fear like you say, God, this is too much. God, what's the first step in this? And I'm going to step out for that first step. I don't have to do it all at one time. I don't have to complete it all at once. But what is my first step for this? And any step, anything that comes from fear, you want to say, okay, Lord, what's my faith step to counteract that? What's the antidote for that fear? Because the fear is a liar and I don't have to be consumed by it, but I'm going to take a small faith step. And Lord, what should that faith step be? And he is so gracious and so wonderful to pour that creativity out for you to know exactly what to do. Isn't that crazy? You don't even have to figure out what to do because he's going to give you what to do. I think a lot of times we're used to a worldly mindset where we feel like we get set up for failure. And God is not that person. God is not that thing to you. What is he to you? He is a faithful Father that could not be happier with you, that could not root more and stronger for you. So he's going to give you everything you need for success. So let's put fear aside and say, Lord, what is the faith step that I need to take? In point 14, one of the things I want to, this is an exciting one. I love this one. Sometimes when we get stuck, what do we need? We need to step out in faith even before you feel ready. If you wait till you're ready before moving forward, the truth is you will probably never feel ready for what God has for you because it is faith. Do we have to step out? Just step out. Many times that's just our job. That's our role. That's our part in that is just to move, is just to step out. Understand and that he's got you. You don't have to do his part. You do your part. Think about like Peter, I'm sure he didn't ask God like, okay, well, do I step out 2 feet, with 2 feet, 1 foot? Do I like what? No, he just stepped out. And when he stepped out onto the water, he simply stepped when Jesus called. And sometimes we just have to step out, right? 2 Corinthians 5:7 says to us, we walk by faith, not by sight. So in stepping out, I don't think we get to a point where we feel ready. That's the whole point. Step out in faith even before you feel ready. If I felt ready for something, I think I'd be really shocked, because I feel like what God asks us to do and to partner with him in is so huge. And he's not saying I have to do that. He's saying this is what your destiny is. This is what your purpose is. This is for you. And in doing that, I think it'll always feel too big, because it is too big for us to do, because he is going to do it. But will I step out? Will I will I step upon the water? Yes, that's my desire to do so. Lord, I want to step out when you call me. And even that takes him to be able to do that, right? Lord, give me the faith to have the faith. And, can you have supernatural faith for something that he is doing in your life? 100%. And he gives you that. It's always mind-blowing to me how our relationship with the Trinity works, because everything comes through him. Every cost is already paid. You are already bought. Before the foundation of the world, he knew you. He knew everything about you, and he chose you. And that's to me, it's a beautiful thing. So what's an action item? Take one small step of faith today towards what God has placed in your heart. And even sometimes it takes, like, God, I don't know if you placed this in my heart, but in faith, step out and believe that he placed it in your heart. I promise you, we have like this heart towards God that he's not going to just like smite you because you're like, oh my gosh, I got it wrong. Don't have to be in perfection about it. Step out. Whatever you think he's asking you to step out in faith for, just step out. And if you get it wrong, you got it wrong. No biggie. I want you, number 15, get rid of excuses. How do we get stuck? Because we get in fear, we get in excuses, we get in blame. We're like, I can't do this. We get in inferiority. There's so many excuses that we can say. I don't have enough time. I'm too old. I'll start when I have more money. These are just ways to delay stepping out in faith. And they become these huge obstacles in our minds, and we get stuck because we begin to say, if I don't have this, then I can't do that. And so I want you just to say, if it's an excuse, get rid of it. Because if you have the understanding that whatever's going to happen, he will provide for you, he will provide for you. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. I want to finish up. We have just a little bit more time because there's a prayer I want to read at the end, and I want you to say this prayer with me. But number 16 is let go of the past. Sometimes we're stuck because we're holding on to past mistakes and failures or disappointments. But God is a redemptive God, and he makes all things new. You are a new creation. Say new. You're a new creation. And in being a new creation, he doesn't care about anything that's happened in the past. Jesus paid the price for your freedom, and you're not bound to old things. You are new. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Isaiah 43:18 through 19. The action item on this, I want you to surrender your past to God and declare, I am moving forward. Sometimes it's so hard to let go of the past because these ghosts that just haunt our thoughts and in our minds. That's why we're to renew our minds and not to conform to this world. Lord, I don't want to care. I don't want to hear what other people have to say about me. I want to hear what you have to say about me. So in conclusion, with 16, let go of your past. You are redeemed. You are a new creation. I don't care who or what somebody says you are. You are what God says you are. And God says that you are a masterpiece. And he says that you are righteous and that you are holy. So in conclusion, for this fourth segment on this, I'm going to post this on the website, and I want to have some reflection questions on this, and so we'll place it on the website also. But I want you to say this prayer with me. I want you to repeat this prayer with me because I think it's just powerful. I want you to recite this with me. Heavenly Father, thank you for never leaving us where we are. You are a God of movement, purpose, and transformation. Today, I recognize the areas in my life where I have been stuck. I surrender my fears, doubts, and complacency to you. Lord, renew my passion, awaken my spirit, remind me of the purpose you have placed inside of me. Give me the strength to take even the smallest step of faith, knowing that you are leading me. Break every chain of fear, procrastination, and distraction that has held me back. I declare today that I am moving forward in faith. I will no longer wait for the perfect time because the time is now. You've called me and I say yes. Surround me with the right people. Stir my heart with new dreams and let my life bring you glory. I trust that you are doing a new thing in me, even when I cannot see it yet. In Jesus' almighty name, I pray this. Amen.